Rise correspondent Labe Olarinoye has been keeping tabs with this story, so she joins us now for the latest. Labe, glad to have you join me. Tyler Robinson, that's his name, governor of Utah, speaking there, says, we got him. How important was the role, the father and the pastor, and the picture sent out by the FBI, how important was the role the three played?
Well, yeah, it was crucial. And I think that's why the FBI put that photo and image out there because they still believed that the suspect, who of course now named as Tyler Robinson, was very much still in Utah, that state. And lo and behold, he was, albeit very far away from where the incident took place at that university. He was found about 3 hours later in a place called Washington, still within the state of Utah. Now, the first image that we saw of him with a baseball cap and a t-shirt and wearing the black trousers, the father, who has detailed some of his accounts, stated actually that he knew straight away that that was his son. And so, of course, when he got in contact with his son, he claims his son confessed to him. That was when the ball got really rolling, and that the authorities, the security officials, were then informed that the suspect had then, of course, been found. We know it was very crucial for the wider public, of course, to know what this suspect looked like and how to interact with him, because one of the key descriptors here, Andy, was the fact that he hadn't changed his outfit. In fact, he was still caught in the exact same outfit that he committed the crime in, which of course is going to aid the investigation, even more the forensics, in proving that indeed this was the person behind the shooting.
All right. What about this connection with his friend, his roommate? Can you tell us more about what the authorities are saying with that connection and the possibility that he could be brought in for questioning? I don't know. Tell us what you're hearing.
Well, what we do know, the details that we do know for sure are that he is a 22-year-old. And contrary to what we believed before he was arrested, was that he was potentially a student of that university because he was being described as a college-aged young man. It turns out he doesn't actually study at the UVU, and instead he is of college age, but isn't a student of that university. We also know that there were inscriptions on the rifle, three of them, which there haven't been any pictures just yet, but there have been descriptions of them, which the authorities alluded to earlier before you came to me, which are now starting to suggest the kind of frame of mind he had, how he felt towards Mr. Kirk, the kinds of political ideologies that he may have had, which is at the moment all pointing towards the left side of the political spectrum. In fact, some authorities have described some of those inscriptions as having relations to the anti-fascist movement of America, which of course is the far left. And it's worth noting here that Mr. Kirk was a far-right activist. So there are some sort of parallels being drawn there. Similarly, we know that the suspect also had a conversation with his friend, his roommate, about not liking Kirk, and they discussed at length the kind of viewpoints that Mr. Kirk had and how they didn't like that. He even shared some cryptic messages on the social media platform Discord, which has all been revealed in that press conference earlier. All of which is going to contribute, of course, to cementing the charges that will be brought against him, which is now going to be the next stage. What will he be charged with? And of course, whether or not he'll plead guilty or not guilty. And effectively, the investigation will really get into the thick of it once we have a charge sheet.
Now you've talked about that. The governor says they will press for death penalty and is asking people to get off social media because they're talking about the danger of social media and how that those on social media should start applying their rules and getting things off there because because of the kind of things that people are saying on social media.
Absolutely. I mean, Andy, you would know in this line of work that a lot of the times these kinds of public crimes, trials, if you like, are also subject to the court of public opinion. And for a very divisive figure like Charlie Kirk was, it's already happening. Even before the suspect had been arrested, people are, arguing online, giving their opinions, talking about humanity, talking about politics, talking about ideology. There are constant arguments, constant opinions, think pieces being shared online, which is why we're getting that rhetoric of get off social media. But whether we like it or not, being a public figure, being a controversial and divisive public figure like Charlie Kirk was, it's certain that there will be a lot of public opinion about his person, about his opinions shared online. Of course, that won't play a significant role in the court of law, but the way in which he died, the kind of caliber that he comes from, the position that he held, his close relationship with President Trump will all contribute in assessing how brutal the crime was. And of course, Mr. Robinson's fate is at the hands of the court of law. Mr. Kirk is effectively being treated as a political official. And in America, that killing somebody of that standard, of that regard, does draw about the death penalty, especially in certain states. So it's no shock there that they will push for the death penalty. But it doesn't take away the fact that this is going to be a very, very politicized case. It will be a very politicized investigation as well. There is hope that justice will take its course. But in a case this public, in a case this polarizing, you cannot eliminate the court of public opinion from this.
You can't. You just can't. Before I let you go, there's talk about how these incidents are making American citizens, more insensitive. And then, of course, the lawmakers are speaking up how their lives are in danger. Speak to that.
Well, certainly. I think anytime somebody that is political or has political affiliation is killed in public, it does raise the question around safety of other officials that are like-minded. I know where I am in the UK, an MP who wasn't necessarily a polarizing figure. His name was Sir David Ames. He was stabbed in public whilst he was going for a session with his constituents, and that raised a massive debate around the safety of British MPs. By the way, British MPs don't publicly walk around with security. They walk around just like everybody else. So it raised a huge issue around their security, around their safety. Now, in America, it's a very different picture. Most of the congressmen and women, or anyone in a kind of significant political office, is likely to have security officials. And of course, this is going to only heighten that conversation, particularly because of how openly this murder took place. Now, nobody is exempt in a country where gun laws are very lax, in a country where political ideology has become very polarizing, in a country where even the president, when he was campaigning, was not exempt from being a potential victim of a shooting as well. And so for that reason, there is a lot of talk around safety, around kind of opinions, extremism, but it all kind of boils back down to violence, how the country handles violence, how people have access to weapons that can now actualize some of their political thoughts. So there's a lot for America to unpack. This unfortunate incident will be a clear indicator, a litmus test of how political ideas and ideologies can be contained and how people can deal with it in a more sensitive manner.
Yeah, and of course, people have talked about how that since the president came to power, his rhetorics has not even helped the matter. Well, thank you so much, Arise correspondent there, Olarinoye, for your thoughts. All right, you're watching The World. Plenty more still to come. Stay with us.